Here we find the wolf in his natural setting. Next, a pack of camels. A North American greyhound. And here, $2.05.
So I wanted to include some stop motion. Some of the best animation came from Europe. Yuri Trinka was pretty subversive. He made these cartoons that were very anti-state, but since they were so metaphoric, you know, he pretty much got away with it. And the hand, of course, represents the crushing totalitarian state. Jan Schwanemacher, a Czech animator, did these animating frame by frame, actually physically moving the human beings. Now, if you notice in the credits, the name Will Vinton Studios should be familiar. That's because they did highly popular box office hits like The Chicken Run. But this was an experiment they did even before they became famous for their claymation. And that's what the studio is really known for. But this was a really unusual little piece that really plays into something that comes up later from a very talented animator. And speaking of claymation, here is Bruce Bickford's Baby Snakes, which he produced for a Frank Zappa music video. And he was on Frank Zappa's payroll for many years. The Quay brothers are weird guys from Philadelphia. And their stuff is highly disturbing. A lot of it involves dolls. A lot of it involves sort of a Cronenberg type of body dysmorphication. Now here we go. Phil Tippett. Everyone knows Phil Tippett, the animation they did for Star Wars and Jurassic Park. But talk about the Will Vinton aspect and talk about the Quay brothers. He combined to make his own independent and very disturbing film, Mad God. Going back to 1932, Minnie the Moocher. You'll notice a lot of Halloween type of themes going on here. This is one of the earliest, and Minnie the Moocher and her pal Bosco had a lot of surrealistic adventures, and many of them involved ghosts and creatures of the night and surrealistic happenings, which would influence on a very high level another filmmaker, which you're very familiar with, I'm sure, coming up.
Wanna be a member? Wanna be a member?
Oh wait, before we get to that, let's talk about Disney, because this scene from Dumbo, the pink elephants on parade, is some of the best surrealistic animation you'll ever find. I watched this scene over and over again, and note that the music and also the Minnie the Moocher Cab Calloway music will also influence the filmmakers that are coming up. Again, returning to the European filmmakers, Ladislas Starwas, which I'm probably mispronouncing, is also going to be highly influential in this mystery filmmaker. But I think you get the idea by now. Between the music and this sort of very whimsical, Halloweenish type of animation, I'm pretty sure you can figure out what's coming up. Okay, so it should be pretty clear by now that Tim Burton and Henry Selick were really highly influenced by the films of the 30s and 40s with the Halloween and surrealistic themes. And they came up with something which is probably one of the best animated, oddest, and most whimsical films of all time. Wrapping up, here's a take on the classic Tom and Jerry theme of violence in the household between cat and mouse. Of course, this shows us what Tom and Jerry might be like in the old age home. And finally, I apologize for speeding this up for time, but it's the classic Bambi meets Godzilla, which almost every cinema goer in the 70s at TLA Cinema in Philadelphia would be familiar with because they showed it every single night for years.